Richard, and I'm going to take you through the basics of setting up a Kratky hydroponic system. And I'm not going to give you all of the information you need right now, but I'm going to give you what I think will give you an overview of what you got to do to make this work. So, first off, you need a concrete mixing tub or some other type of a tub that that will hold water. These are, I find, pretty convenient, and they're cheap at Home Depot. And you'll need some type of a board to go over the top. And I find this foam board, this is Thermax. This is kind of expensive, but you can buy a foam board with reflective material on one side at Amazon, or excuse me, at Home Depot, pretty cheaply. It's made out of styrofoam as opposed to polystyrene, I think is what this is. Well, it's not. Okay, but anyway. So, you've got a tank and your cover. And we're going to put a net cup into the cover so that it reaches down into the nutrient level. And honestly, I guess I should explain that we're eventually going to fill this tank with nutrients, which is a combination of water and the dry materials that make the plant grow. So the first thing you have to do is drill holes, and I've already gone ahead and pre-marked this for 6 holes, and I'll show you how they're drilled. First thing you do is you start your drill in going the way it normally is supposed to go, and then turn it backwards. Okay? And then the trick is getting the waste piece out of here. And that's sometimes easy and sometimes hard. That was a good one. Okay, do it again. The reason I run it backwards once I get the hole started is it doesn't tend to tear up the material, the aluminum foil or whatever it is. And so I'll just go ahead and finish this up real quick. Yeah, see, I forgot to do it backwards, and look what happened. This tears. Good lesson. The good thing about this seminar is you're going to get to learn from some of my mistakes. Okay, so we drilled all the holes, and we're going to put this in here. At this point, we can do one of 2 things. We can go ahead and put the nutrients in here, and if I do that, put it where it belongs, because 9 gallons of water weighs a fair amount. Okay, so there's the tank in the place that I want it to be. And let's go ahead and just kind of do a dry run and then we'll go finish it up. But the idea is the net cups with the little plants will sit in there, and if you see that, they just kind of, the edge catches right on the foam. If you look down below, they extend just a little bit below. So the idea is to fill the tank up with enough liquid that about 1/4 inch of this net cup is covered with liquid. So that's the next step. So, and by the way, we're going to go back over all of these little details as we go along, so don't worry. I know I'm leaving some things out. Okay, I happen to have my nutrients pre-measured, and we'll have a whole section on nutrients. But I've found that for the nutrient mix that I'm going to recommend to you, you use 2 of these. These are like little ketchup nails you can get at the store. Just take 2 of them, dump them in there. Now you probably don't have this luxury of being kind of lazy. I went ahead and put a hose in my basement so that I could fill these buckets and tubs with a minimum of hassle. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll come right back. Okay, I've filled the tank with nutrients and water, and as you can see that there's some sediment in there. Some of that will go ahead and dissolve over time. Some of it won't. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And okay, so let's take a net cup. Here's a net cup. And we're going to set our foam board on it. And we're going to put the net cup in there, and we're going to look down and see if there's any water in there. Okay? And it looks to me like we've got roughly 1/4 inch. So that should be just fine for planting. Now we're going to plant the crop. And I started this Swiss chard about 2 weeks ago, and here it goes. It's ready to go in. I don't know if you can see it, but there's little roots starting to come out the bottom, and they'll reach down into the nutrient solution. And by the way, this is Swiss chard. Don't worry that it's fallen over. It just got too heavy on top. It will eventually come back up and perk up and start growing straight up. So that's it. So at this point, that is an overview. From here on out, you don't have to do anything. It's basically set it and forget it. Of course, I come down and talk to my plants every day, and
they grow up to be
big happy plants
like the ones behind you.
Yeah. So here's some of these. These are fairly small. This is a 3rd crop, and we'll talk about that in the future as well. And then this is a crop I started about 3 weeks ago, and so it's, of course, a little bit bigger than the new ones. And at this point, these guys are starting to put their roots down, just bigger roots. I think there may be some that are even bigger. No, not really. They're all about the same. But they're just reaching down into the nutrient solution at this point. And they will continue to do that. And eventually, you'll end up with root systems like that. See that mass of roots? And the top part of these roots are air-absorbing roots. And the bottom part are the ones that pick up the nutrients. So we'll be talking more about that too. So that is basically the overview, and we'll stop the presentation at that point.